By the end of the 19th century, circumstances had changed. It was no longer a corrupt clergy that was causing troubles, that was creating human inequality. What existed was corrupt industrialists, merging with state coercion to subjugate people for the sake of their profit and greed. That's what Marx was reacting to. Was he wrong? Was he wrong to react to that? There you have it. There you have it. This is why the argument, oh, we care, you don't care, we're right, you're wrong, doesn't work. It doesn't win arguments. What wins arguments is to have a clear grasp of the philosophy, the ideology, and the options. We have genuine human things that we can't stand to even think about or look at the condition of human beings at the time, and we're faced with the exact same binary. Do we choose reform and harmony and union and unity and impulses towards recognizing the foundational benefits of things if they were only organized and run well? Or do we imagine ourselves, human beings, so incredibly intelligent, which, as I mentioned before, that we're going to come up with something better than God, because God's the problem? Marx had three primary and essential philosophical errors, which David already introduced. One is the in Das Kapital, the labor theory of value. The other is dialectical materialism and historical materialism. Okay, these are three basic elements of Marx's efforts to respond to the evils of the end of the 19th century and the industrial age. The other thing that is everyone knows about Marx is that he was hostile to God and faith. He's hostile to religion, faith in the human experience. Everybody knows the phrase, as David said, religion is the opiate of the people. This is a later phrase, it's a tactical phrase. What is more important is that the rejection of God is essential in the philosophy. And the removal of God, everybody knows Marxist is atheist, right? Everybody knows. And so we think, aha, this is the problem. He removed God. But not many people realize that he wasn't the first one to do this, as we just learned today. It was already tried in the Enlightenment period by the rationalists. They replaced God with human reason, but Marx replaced God with matter. Look at the progression there. Which is more elegant? Which is higher? Which is nobler? Human reason or matter? Reason is already that you're making dirt. Right? In a way. Dirt. Higher than God and higher than human beings. We are human beings, according to Marx, are the fruits of how dirt behaves. How can a philosophy that begins this way and starts with such a founding utterance hold sway for so long and by so many and still today? I'll explain a little bit of how it holds its sway. Basically, the point is that you can't make that work. You can't make that work. You contort yourself into all kinds of knots and philosophical, and in the end, you can't make that work. That dirt creates eyesight and love. And writing a letter to the girl I love in Japan, dirt creates that? Can't make it work. So eventually these philosophies, this is part of why these philosophies end up as extermination machines. You have to remove what disconfirms the basis of what you've committed your life to. You must remove it. And so either, as David pointed out, either you have to re-educate or destroy, re-educate or eliminate. If the rationalists remove God, what did Marx remove? Marx removes the relationship between the God-given relationship between human beings and nature. That's what Marx removes. It's still an attack on God, but because he's gone down to materialism, not rationalism, not that side of us that thinks on high things and ideals, ideals. Marx is down in the means of production. So what he's talking about is how human beings are related to the earth. That's what happens next. Because the problem wasn't corrupt clergy bothering people about how they think or interfering with elevated ideas, corrupt clergy. The problem is people interfering with how we survive, how we physically survive. That's what the industrialists were doing. And so when Marx comes up with a secular philosophy, it is that part of what God does. How did God design human beings to be related to the physical earth? That's the question, and that's where this same binary comes up. Here's the starting point. Does our physical reality and our harmonious interdependency with nature will define the logic of our relationship to the world? Jewish and Christian understanding is clear about this. All religious systems are clear about this. All spiritual systems are clear about this. They describe an integrated, harmonious relationship with man and earth. If you remove God out of that, then you end up with the materialism of Marxism, the treatment of matter as higher than God and higher than us. So in spiritual systems, care for the earth is humanitarian. It's not common everyday, quote-unquote, environmentalism. It's humanitarian. I care for the earth because I care about you. I care about my brothers and sisters. I care that people are well fed, that they have nice homes, that they have good environments to raise their children. That's my materialism. This is, when God created human beings, he created us in a specific relationship to the earth. And this is what Marx was fiddling with, and this is, by calling it secular, he removes the presence of the divine harmony that we find. And as a result, so what is private property? What is private property? Is this kind of Adam Smith? Is it Friedman? Is it Locke, Smith, Friedman? Is it so that we get rich, so that socialists just make you poor, the societies can't survive? We got rich, we're capitalists, free market. No, private property is the home of your biblical origins as a human being. It's where you are responsible. It's where the earth, where you exercise your divinity. That's the relationship that God designed. So how could Marxism, which is so fundamentally wrong, and which is clearly led to global genocide, how does it retain such devotion and such longevity? How is that possible? Here's why, or here's a possible reason why. Marx identified two things accurately. Emotionally, human suffering causes us difficulty. And so that's one of the hooks that he has for idealistic young people or for old rich exploitation Harvard professors. I'm sorry, yeah. And also, he presented truth in a modern way. It was scientific, because the nature of the 20th century in which Marxism flourished was a scientific era. It's the emergence of science and technology. And so Marx captures two things. It is emotionally grips you, people are suffering, and it's cool, it's scientific. It's not like you backward Christians who believe that the earth is flat. No, we're scientists, this is science. Scientists know what's what. Science and technology are the great fixers of human problems, not virtue, compassion, patience, sacrifice, integrity. Science and technology. And this was the nature of Marxism, and this was how it retained its grip on people. Thoughtful people and conscientious people naturally know that owners bear risk, long, thankless hours, keep corporations alive, provide countless people with the chance to earn an honest wage and support their families and send their children to school. Tragically, in the industrial era, many owners became corrupt, addicted to greed. They became inhumane, the image I showed you earlier, and this resulted in human despair and alienation. Once again, same option, same choice. Destruction or correction and reform. Marx chose the latter. Violent revolution. Destroy the capitalist class, the bourgeoisie. Destroy the managerial class or the ownership class. Then you have the Marxist revolution. You destroy the capitalist class, you get rid of all natural bases for creativity, development, and replace it with the absurd fantasy, I'll repeat, absurd fantasy of collective ownership without the ennobling dignity of private property, responsibility, and reward for hard work. This is the path to abject poverty and state tyranny. It's plain and simple. There's three basic parts of Marxist philosophy in which I'm trying to find a worse word than error, E-R-O-R. But anyway, dead wrong, get out of here, or as we New Yorkers say, get out of town, or I can't find, come on, yeah, there. now we have a whole ticket.